Welcome back, guys.
Welcome back where?
Here
Here where?
to the podcast.
What podcast?
Your podcast.
Your podcast? My
What episode is this?
My what episode? You can't even keep track with the
I
episodes? Huh? Too many episodes for you.
I don't even know how old I am.
Seriously. This is the 12th.
Okay, guys. Welcome back to the 12th episode. My
Part.
name is Candy, and this is the host.
But look,
Anas.
your microphone is running away from you, bro.
It is. Sorry, guys. You know, Amazon, we can only do so good. So if you guys want to see better microphones and stands, just subscribe right somewhere there.
Somewhere in there, right?
Right.
Yeah. So, yeah. First, before we get this podcast going, I want to say, make sure guys go ahead and subscribe, like she said, right? And we are on Rumble. Do you know that we're on Rumble now?
Yes.
I was like, we don't know we're on Rumble right now. That's how
Yeah, I know. Remember.
We're in Rumble right now. We are on Rumble, guys. So please, guys, go ahead and subscribe and Rumble.
Yes.
What are you doing?
Nothing.
She smashed something, huh?
No, my phone fell.
Sure. Yeah, so we are in Rumble. Please, guys, go ahead and subscribe to our channel in Rumble. It's, you never know. Our mouth is a little bit too big. We might get canceled or something. And we planning to go live in Rumble a little bit more. So if you guys want to watch us being in Rumble, you guys meet us over there, right?
Yeah.
When should we go live in Rumble? Do you know? Having a date in your mind?
No, we have a few things coming up. We might go out of town, we might not. So I don't know, we'll have to think about it.
Yeah. But if we do go out of town, are we gonna do the podcast or no?
We will. I just don't know if we'll go live.
Sure. So anyways, today, guys, we want to talk about... Do you know what we want to talk about today?
Hit me. What are we talking about?
We don't know. I have no idea. I thought you know. We talked about it. We're going to be talking about religion. I want her to share with you guys her experience reverting to Islam. Some people might call it converting to Islam. Whatever your terminology you like to use, both correct, I guess, right?
I think I would say they both are correct for the people who don't understand reverting. I think converting is the best way to explain it for the moment being until you're able to explain reverting, you know.
Sure. Yeah. No, that's true. So we want to talk about, her experience.
Do you want to explain why we prefer to use the terminology of reverting instead of converting?
Reverting instead converting. Well, because as a Muslim, we believe we born as a babies, all of us to a Muslim, because Islam means someone submit their will to God, Submission. So when we are little babies, we are submitting to one creator, basically, right? And when we grow and, we get influenced by parents and environments and different ideas or whatever, then we can be, probably like if we're born as in a Christian family, maybe we're Christian or Catholic or whatever it may be, So then when you find Islam one day, so you revert, like you went back or you came back to your original, faith, basically, like the way how you were born as a baby, because every baby borns with one belief of God. There is one God and stuff like that, Yeah. So that's what we call it, or there is people prefer reverting because you came back from where you came from, or, I came from by like the birthwise, right? And some people say converting because you convert from E to Z, basically, right? So both of them are correct, and whatever you prefer to use, you can use it,
Yeah.
All right. So, yeah. But as far as you, do you like reverting or converting? So how you present yourself?
I would say reverting.
Yeah, I will say so. I think I heard you use reverting more than converting.
Yeah. I think like I really one of the things that I hate is like when people say, "Oh, you converted, huh, because of your husband." Oh, you converted, huh, because of your husband. Like that's like
Well, that's the truth, no?
no.
What too sad.
Because if I convert or revert just to please you, then it's false.
Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, if you convert just because of someone, which is a lot of people do it actually, like, oh, I convert because I don't want to lose this guy or this girl, whatever it may be. That's not a good intentions to convert to any religion. You know what I'm saying? You want to convert to any religion, and we'll speak about Islam here. You need to believe, exactly that there is only one God, and the Prophet Muhammad, he's, the messenger of God, right? And you have to believe other prophets also. You know what I'm saying? You cannot be a Muslim without believing all the prophets. You gotta believe Jesus, Moses, Noah, Muhammad. All the prophets out there.
Yeah.
You have to believe them. And you have to believe all the books also. And you have to believe there is only one God, So there's a chapter of Surah Baqarah at the end of it. Basically says you have to believe in the books, which is like the Torah, the Injil, and you have to believe all the prophets and to believe on God,
Yeah.
but God first. Yeah, that's how you become a Muslim. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So what's your like how? Well, I know, like you never heard about Islam, like right?
Yeah, like was I
From what you
introduced
said,
to Islam
like how you got introduced
because
to
of
Islam.
you? Yes. But did I convert or revert because of you? No.
Hmm.
Would I have met or come into contact with Islam
Yeah,
without you? Who knows? We don't know the future. You know what I mean? But
yeah,
did I meet the religion
because
because of you? Yes. I
yeah,
would say the truth behind the religion because, growing up in the West, you have, or, I grew up with a painted picture of what Islam is,
yeah.
which is what most of what the media paints is like terrorist, Al Qaeda, ISIS,
Ooh,
that's
Al
what
Qaeda.
that's what I thought was Islam before you you know
Yeah,
you showed me what it was. And even like in the early beginning stages when I would talk to like other colleagues about you and how you were Muslim, they would really try to push that narrative of you being some sort of misogynist terrorist guy. You know what I
damn,
mean? Because that's just
that's
what
some spicy stuff
that's
right
just what
there.
most Americans, or I would say some Americans think, because of what they're fed through the media and through
Yeah,
like
we experience a lot of hate or a lot of like they're trying to divide as much as they can from people, negative things saying, behind my back, like how Muslims are oppressive and how probably I'm like a bad guy, and you know what I'm saying, and all this like trying to like feed you poison in your head. But it's to be honest, I'll give you this, like you didn't listen actually to them, you know what I'm saying?
yeah.
And anytime you been told that, most of the time I would say you come and you communicate that with me. You're like, oh, somebody told me today, that Muslims this and that, and
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
your husband, or with that time whatever I was, I guess, that I'm gonna be just oppressing you, taking advantage from you, maybe whatever like that. So yeah, that's awesome. And
Yeah.
what was So what was your like think or think, me seeing me like example praying and the way how I talk to my family and stuff like that, you know what I'm saying? Like what makes you think or change your mind about the Islam, you know what I'm saying? Then the people what they are telling you outside.
What do you mean?
Like, okay, so your friends or whatever, the people they're telling you Islam is bad, and maybe, your husband is bad too, you know what I'm saying? He's, maybe, or misogynist or whatever you want to call it, right? But like how you are changing your mind, I'm not that guy. You know what I'm saying?
Got it. So it was very simple because what other people try to influence me with, like all these like, I don't know, rhetoric or whatever you want to call it, with all these things, I would go home or see you and experience something completely different. You know, it wasn't your words that made me like or convince me that you weren't a certain way or the religion wasn't a certain way. It was your actions. You know what I mean? A lot of the times I didn't even have to share with you things that were brought up to my attention or were mentioned to me. And I didn't have a lot of like negative questions because of your actions, you know? So that was, you
Yeah.
know, that was pretty easy.
Yeah. And by any means, I'm not like an angel, but I try my best to, better myself, I guess,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
behave the best way as possible I can,
Yeah.
So what's the most attractive thing you find about the religion, about Islam?
The most attractive thing.
You're like, ooh, this is kind of like, yeah, you something you really like about religion.
I would say that if you sit there with an open mind, right? And you ask all the questions that you have.
Can you push the microphone a little bit down? I feel like it's covering your. There you go.
Yeah,
That's good.
if you sit there with an open mind and you ask all the questions you need to ask and you don't carry like what do you call it? I know the word in Spanish, but I can't figure it out in English.
What is in
Well, anyways,
Spanish? Tell us in Spanish.
it's fine. But if you sit there with an open mind, right? And you're open to listening and taking information and you ask all the questions that you have,
Yeah.
right? To someone who's knowledgeable, not just any person, but someone who's knowledgeable or someone who's willing to learn with you. You can ask any questions and almost all the questions that you have will be answered.
Yeah.
And they make majority of the time they make sense. And if it doesn't make sense to you at that time, I suggest you take a break and come back later and then you seek further explanation. And then it's kind of like, okay, I understand. Like, you know,
Okay.
it makes sense.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, for example, one of the ones where I thought from the very beginning, if you explain to somebody, you know, in Islam, the men are allowed to have more than one wife. You explain that to somebody in the Western world, and majority of the time, they might freak out or just misunderstand or think like that's horrible, that's terrible, like that's not okay, you know, cheater, misogynist, whatever, you know. But if you actually sit there and you explain to them the logic behind that concept,
Yeah.
it's understandable.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I found that a lot of the things that if you're trying to like tell people why we do certain things, you know what I'm saying? And a lot of people when they disagree why it's like that, it's not because we are human being and we just create the rules for us. This we believe these rules we are following comes from God. You know what I'm saying? And we can't be questioning too much God why he creates certain things. Even we understand that is even every law or everything that God tells us to do, some of them, all of them are actually benefit to us or or for our society and stuff like that. You
Yes.
know what
And
I'm
let me
saying?
interrupt you really quick. well, you say that. I think for a non-believer, for you to tell them we don't eat pork because God said so,
Yeah.
I don't think that's the best answer or the best way you can explain to them
Yeah.
why don't we eat pork. I think I think the best way to start off with, I mean, yes, that's true, right? But I think the best way to go about it is explain the negative effects about pork and what's, for example, said in the Quran and what has been scientifically proven over time, and then end it with God said so. So from the beginning of time, God said so. And over time, we found out all these things that
All
I
this.
just explained. You know what I mean? Because I feel like to a non-believer, for you to say, oh, because God said so, like it won't go through to them and it doesn't make sense and it makes them more adverse, you know?
It makes them think we're just like, it's like a,
We're brainwashed, we're
yeah,
following blindly,
you just
etc.
like anything. It's like we cannot do just because God said so, and we're not doing it, and we're just like following through it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But there is certain things that actually there is not too much that we might not understand, and as a real Muslims and as real believers, we say there is a wisdom that God knows and we don't know.
And that is very true. But I feel like,
But
sorry,
not
if
the
you
new-
give, yes, if you give though the examples to the non-believers, like for example, why we don't wear gold, why we're able to, why men are able to have more than one wife, why we don't eat pork, why no alcohol, why no sex before marriage, all these little things. If you give these examples and you explain to them, you know, the reasons behind it, and then God said so, you know, so then when you come across something that there may not be a clear explanation or we don't even know why,
yeah,
but we know that God said so and it's for our own good, I think it'll be easier for the non-believer to understand and believe, like, okay, that makes sense. If Allah was right about all these things, he's right about this and he knows best, so we should just follow. Right?
yeah,
Because
you're right.
it makes sense to us, but to a non-believer, it's some, you know, it won't make sense most of the time. You know?
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, no, I see what you're saying. Yeah, 100%. So okay. You said the most attractive thing is maybe
There's answers to questions that you have.
that you have, and
Yeah.
basically any question literally you have, there is an answer for it, you know.
Yeah.
And all the time I told you that I was just like, any question you might have, just ask me. If I'm able to answer you, I will. If no, we can do some research, because I'm not a scholar by any means, you know. So
And let me just clarify that there's an answer to. I haven't come across a question that there's not an answer to. You know, so maybe if someone has a question, and you know what I mean, and there's no answer to it, I think someone, you know, leave in the comments or let us know, whatever.
Yeah.
But like, for example, what is the meaning of life? That was one of the questions that I had that was answered to me. And I think that's a question that a lot of people have. And I want to clarify that there is an answer to that question, right? So there is an answer to that question, right? And there's a very big difference between you listening, understanding, accepting that answer, or you listening and disagreeing with that answer, right?
yeah.
There's a difference between that. But the fact is that there is an answer to almost everything in Islam. You may agree or disagree with the answer, but the answer is there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's my point.
Yeah, well, a lot of times when you disagree, that's my point first to what I was trying to share, probably last year or something. But people that disagree on anything when it comes to Islam, that because their ego comes in the way, or because they are so addicted to something that they're not willing to give it out and they're trying to justify it with anything. You know what I'm saying? And it's just not because your feeling doesn't agree, or doesn't feel like you know what I'm saying, and it's you think it's we have to put our ego at the side and think, you know what I'm saying, this is the most knowledgeable not human being but God that who creates everything, from water, from air, you know what I'm saying? And a lot of times too, I'm like, okay, if we all like these people have their ego so big, can you make human being just a little bit differently than us? Example, the eyes, maybe put them here in the forehead a little bit, maybe put the nose maybe a little bit to the left or to the right, or a little bit lower or upper. And automatically we see in the people that born a little bit different than us, and we see him as weird, you know what I'm saying? It's like, oh, look his eyes, the way how he looks, you know what I'm saying? Look, the nose is too big, too small, you know what I'm saying? We got he give us the best picture as possible, and still we have billion-dollar industry when it comes to cosmetic surgeries and stuff like that, you know what I'm saying? And so that is, I feel like if our eyes is went more a little bit to the side, I think we look super weird, you know what I'm saying? So I think God, he create us in the best way as possible we can be made, you know what I'm saying? And even the robot these days, right, when they make a robots, they make them very similar to us, you know what I'm saying? It's like a human form with hands and legs, right? But it's just like a robot looking, but everything else, because it's so hard to create anything from not, from nothing, you know what I'm saying? So that's why last time we were talking about this podcast, if you remember, we're like, anyone want to create something, you need to have a baseline, you know what I'm saying? So creating a robot, they're coming from this baseline from a human who create human, they came from nothing, you know what I'm saying? So they cannot create a robot if there is no human, you know what I'm saying? So even, yeah, they might make the robots look a little bit more like a robotic looking, but their nature of movements and everything is like very human nature, you know what I'm saying? So they cannot get away around it. Yeah, yeah. Basically, what I'm trying to say is just put your ego aside and listen. You know what I'm saying? Even if you don't feel it telling you, you know, maybe it's not fair that moment you feel, maybe you feeling like that or whatever. But trust me, there is everything in wisdom behind it. When you put your ego aside, you will understand the logic behind it a lot more, right?
Yeah.
So, can you tell us what is because you mentioned, you know, the purpose of life and stuff, right? So, can you tell us what's, just a little bit about what's the purpose of life, right? You said this is one of the questions you had and was
I
answered to
think you
you.
should answer that. You answered it for me, so I think you should answer that.
What the purpose of life?
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's a big task for me. So I was trying to put you on spot. You know, you're
No,
trying to
you're
put me
the
on
one that
spot.
answered that question for me.
Yeah, was so
So
I don't remember exactly what lie that I told you that time. I gotta make a new one now. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, purpose of life is basically it is a test, from God. So God gave us a life to be tested with it. You know what I'm saying? What kind of goods, what kind of bad we can do with it, and whatever we do right now, we're gonna hold accountable with God the day after we die.
mhm.
So, or our goal is similar to everybody. So my goal to go to paradise, her goal to be a paradise. Skip the hellfire, go to a paradise, right? And that's the purpose of life. Do not allow the devil to be your friend. You know what I'm saying? Because the devil, his only goal right here to bring much people with him to hellfire. He don't want to be burnt up by himself. He don't want to get punished by himself. It's just like, I gotta bring people with me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like when you go to anywhere, you don't want to be going alone. You know what I'm saying? You want to take people with you. You want to take friends.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? You want to take, so right. That's exactly what he's doing. He's trying to bring much people as he can, and he challenged God in a way. You know what I'm saying? He was like, "I'll prove you that human, they don't deserve what you give them. They don't deserve all this." You know what I'm saying? He was like, "I'll prove you they belong to hellfire with me." You know what I'm saying? And it was like, "I will prove it to you." You know what I'm saying? So we have to, to how do you say it? we have to make him to make him wrong, you know what I'm saying, what he believes, that we don't deserve anything. We have to make, believe that we deserve everything, and God, everything he gave us, we deserve it, and we will do the best we can to go to a paradise and let the devil burn by himself. And sadly, we can see there is a lot of people are going that way. Allah give us Jannah, inshallah, and we skip hellfire, all the Muslims. Yeah, and another thing too, do you know all Muslims will be in a paradise one day? You know what I'm saying? Even the lowest Muslim, as long you're Muslim, you believe one God, and you believe the prophets, and Prophet Muhammad, he's the messenger of God, you will be in a paradise. Yeah, you might spend some time, in hellfire, like a jail time kind of thing. You do your time, then you will be forgiven, and you're gonna come to a paradise. But the disbelievers, right, they will be in hellfire forever and ever and ever. And the sad part, for them, is you don't die once or twice or three or four. You don't get burned just once. So a lot of people think that when you get burned one time and you die and it's over, like here in real life. You know what I'm saying? Over there,
Like
no.
you suffer just one time.
Yeah, one time. The suffering,
It's eternal. It's an eternal
it's
suffering.
forever. Your skin get burned. God give you new skin, new new soul, new everything. You know what I'm saying? So you are in a punishment forever. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's not like the rest of your life, because you're not gonna die after. So you stay like that forever, forever, forever. So, and I get that a lot of times too. Sometimes, when I talk with some people in a different religions, stuff like that, they're like, well, thank God I'm not a Muslim. I'm not gonna go through your judgments, your God judgments. You know what I'm saying? Do you think, oh, because if I'm Christian or I'm Catholic or I'm Jew, whatever, you know what I'm saying? Or I'm an atheist, I'm not gonna be with your group. So I'm gonna be judged in a different way, or I'm not gonna be judged. I'm just gonna go with my way. You know what I'm saying? But that's not how it works. You know what I'm saying? It's like they put the Jews by themselves, they put the Muslims by themselves. You know what I'm saying? We're all mixed up. We're gonna go in the same ways. We're gonna go in the same places and everything. You know what I'm saying? So there's no way around it beside one way. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So all the people that told me before, oh, I'm not gonna be judged with you. Well, I'm like, sorry, too late. You're gonna be judged with me. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, so that's another thing you guys need to think about, that all of us, we're gonna be judged the same way.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what's your, what, you want to say something?
Yeah. Did you turn that back on?
Yeah.
Oh, so it's recording. Okay,
Yeah.
just want to make sure, because I know you turned it off.
Yeah, turn it back on.
Okay.
We made a mistake before. We don't want to make that mistake again.
For real, seriously.
So, okay, so what was your returning point that you're like, oh, I gotta maybe becoming a Muslim, I have to be more serious about it? Like, where was like the idea start coming to your head more and more?
My turning point.
Yeah.
That's a good question. I won't share too much right now. I think I'll save it for the live.
We didn't tell them that we have a coffee. Get you a coffee. We always keep forgetting about the coffee thing. Please, guys, get you something to drink, because this episode is gonna be cozy.
I think so.
Yeah. What are you drinking out there? I see you drinking something. What was that?
Coconut water.
Coconut water. All right. What? Anything you find in your fridge or something like that?
Yeah.
Grab it and chill. All right.
Keep it chill.
Keep it chill.
So,
Becky.
So, I'm not gonna share too much, because I think I'll save like the actual real turning points for like another good episode, like where we hit live or something. But just to like surface level, I was going through a lot of changes in my life, and following those changes in my life, we also decided to move right out of California because of just the way everything was going. It came to a point in time where we started, like, our relationship took a turn, like almost like 360, but it took a turn for the better. It slowly kind of like it got really good, you know what I mean? And it's been really good. Not that it was like the worst ever, but it went into like this phase of like amazing, you know what I mean? And it stayed amazing ever since. And then you know, we moved to a new state. We started this whole new life together by ourselves here, no family, nothing. So it was pretty cool. A little scary, but pretty cool.
Cool experience, right?
Oh, very cool experience.
Yeah.
And I don't know, there was a lot of, I guess I had a lot of time to think. You know, I completely isolated and separated myself from like friends, coworkers. And a lot of that, looking back at it now, had a really negative influence on my life, you know? And so as I pulled myself away from that kind of environment, I noticed my life getting better.
Yeah.
And I noticed myself like questioning, like, why aren't I doing this already? Why am I not? I guess I was just lazy and procrastinating, you know, and kind of like having like almost like getting cold feet, but not really. It was like this kind of feeling where you're like, you don't know if you should take that leap and go for it, you know? And I think what really was that like turning point was me getting pregnant and kind of visualizing what my life would look like in the future and what I wanted my life to look like in the future.
Yeah.
So I saw like different paths where I visualized myself with one, you know, not being religious, you know, one, do I stay Catholic and just become a better Catholic, or do I try something new that seems like it might work for me? You know what I mean? Because even then I was still a little bit skeptical. And so I decided to try something new. But when I decided, hey, you know, I should revert, I didn't revert right away. It was constantly in my mind, thinking, had in my mind, I want to do this, you know, until I eventually did it. I believe it was Eid. Was it Eid when I took my Shahada in Napa when we went to go see family? And even then, when I did it, I didn't plan on doing it. But when the opportunity came up, I was like, why not? You know, like, why not? Like, there's not a better moment. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, let's just do it, you know?
Yeah.
And so I did. I say let's, but I you know, I did it.
Yeah.
I say let's because a family friend was like, hey, when are you going to? You should, blah, blah, blah. Let's do it right now. And I'm like, yeah, let's do it. And it was just kind of like, whoa, really? Seriously? You know, and it happened. But to answer your question, but I wanted to give you like the story so you can kind of understand. But to answer your question, I think it was me knowing that I was pregnant and knowing that I wanted to become a better person and a great mom to my child. You know, I didn't want my child to go through what I went through. You know, I grew up Catholic in a very strict Catholic household. Very early on, I started disbelieving because of the many contradictions that I saw and that were told to me. And I did not want my child to go through that. You know what I mean? And seeing a lot of the things that were going on in the world and that are still going on now in the world, it got very scary. You know, it got very, very scary. You would share with me throughout the course of our relationship what the end of times would look like.
Yeah.
You know, more cars,
Buildings,
poverty, building,
interest,
women walking around basically naked. And it just seems like we're there.
Wars,
and so it's like
chaos. Basically.
I never wanted, and I would always like think to myself, like, I don't want to be in a position where God's like, why didn't you do it? You were like right there. Like, why didn't you do it?
Yeah. No,
you know?
And especially like for you too, like you were Muslim, like years before the actual when you took your shahada, but you make it officially that day because you make the shahada, what that makes you Muslim. But your belief was very straight Muslim,
Mm-hmm.
because she believed one God. She believed Jesus, he's a messenger of God. You know what I'm saying? He's a
Mm-hmm.
prophet, not a God, not a spirit. You don't believe the Trinity or the three or anything like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You believed Moses is so
I don't
anything.
believe, and to clarify, even as a Catholic, I did not believe that Jesus is God.
Yeah,
I did not believe that you have to pray to Jesus
to
in order
Jesus.
to. No, you have to pray to God. You
So
don't pray
yeah,
to Jesus.
so the
You
only
know,
person that you were not aware of is the Prophet Muhammad.
correct.
But
Mm-hmm.
everybody else, you were aware of them. You heard of his name, but you had no idea what he
Mm-hmm.
did or anything like that. So you just got to know a little bit more about Muhammad, and and stuff like that. and
Yeah.
uh and after that, you didn't, yeah, I don't know, but you didn't have no rejections, no like, oh, I don't think so, he's a prophet or anything like that. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So it was easy to believe, oh, he is a prophet, and he was one of the prophets, and he's the latest prophet. You know what I'm saying? And it makes
Mm-hmm.
sense, if there is Islam, you should come by Muhammad, because Jesus, he didn't teach what we doing. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, he does. We you know the teachings being changing a little bit by little bit, but the fundamental teachings, like being a good human being overall, you know what I'm saying, it
Mm-hmm.
stays the same. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
But the prayers, the fasting, you know what I'm saying, they were doing a certain way of fasting. I don't know exactly what way of, like, the Jesus or even Moses time to do doing fasting. The when Moses wanted to speak to God, and he made him to fast, I think, for a couple days. You know what I'm saying? And he put the one plants to kind of clean his taste or his smell of fasting. And God make him to fast. And all that is like, why would you eat that? Was like, well, just, I don't want to speak to you and smell my breath. And God actually says that the smell of fasting person is the best smell to me. You know what I'm saying? So imagine that we might like, oh, you're fasting, you're like, your mouth
Cringy,
disgusting, you're
like, stay
cringy,
away.
but that is the best smell to God. You know what I'm saying? It's just, that's what I'm saying. We don't understand the wisdom when God says something. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So you didn't give any like rejection or like any pushback on, like, I don't believe this, I don't believe that, whatever. You know what I'm saying? You had some time to absorb maybe the information and stuff like that. But the thing is, I think what was holding you back for so long, to be honest, I think the devil, first of all, because it makes you're gonna like your world will collapse on you. You know what I'm saying? And makes you feel you're not ready. And you makes you feel when you're gonna become a Muslim, you have to be like this strict Muslim, and you never have to look back. You know what I'm saying?
Or I have to be
Oh,
perfect.
you
I
have
have
to
to
be
be a perfect
perfect
Muslim before I
even to think about
continue,
it. You know what
right?
I'm saying? And you have
Yeah.
to think all these things. Maybe you have like, oh, I don't want to listen to music of
Yeah.
what I'm doing.
Yeah. So,
And maybe your family a little bit, but I don't think so as
no,
much.
my family didn't have
Yeah.
any influence at all over that.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, to kind of shed some light on that. Yeah, I was very close to what to a Muslim, like a Islamic believer, a Muslim, right? Very close. I believed in a lot of the similar things, just like you said. I didn't make it official just yet. And I think a lot of it was that I was still kind of like not traumatized, but I still had it ingrained in my head. Like, as a Catholic, if you go to like any other religion, you go to hell. It's bad. You just can't do that. I was scared to what my family might say, to what my grandma might say, because, we grew up praying the rosary like every night, going to church every
Yeah.
Sunday. So I was really scared about that. I was scared of judgment. I was scared about what other people might think. And I was also scared of like how I would be judged, because I was a certain way before I reverted. I was a completely different person. I was a certain way. completely influenced, of course, by Western society, because here's where I grew up, where I was like, I don't want to look like a hypocrite. I don't want people to judge me and say, oh, you're a Muslim, but like 2 years ago you were doing this, or we were hanging out, or we went here, or you went there. Like, I was like really scared of what people may think of me.
Yeah.
So that was like a huge thing, that I wasn't thinking about myself. I was thinking about others and what others people like may think about me, right? So that was another thing. And I think that, of course, the devil had its play into my delay, but I think I wasn't ready to commit, because I always thought, like, why am I going to go into this religion when I'm not perfect? I haven't prayed in years. I don't know how to pray Islamically. I've never read the Quran. Like, I've sat and people have recited it and explained it to me, and we've had conversations, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But I've never sat there and I read it, and I've never like fully engaged so much into the religion. So why would I even do it, And I thought, it's not fair to God for me to even join this religion when I'm nowhere near perfect. Like, I need to become perfect. I need to pray already. I need to memorize the Quran. I need to know like everything and anything about this religion before I join.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I don't know. Like, I don't know what exactly changed about that I was just like, you know what, it's now or never kind of feeling. And that's when I took my Shahada in Napa.
Yeah. No, that's perfectly, because the devil always wants you, make you feel like you're less, you're not enough, you're not this, you that, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I feel like that microphone just covering the whole of your face, There you
I don't
go.
want to put it too low because it's gonna keep sagging.
No, it's not gonna sag. I fixed it. But anyways, I think the devil does his work. He want to make you feel less. You're not ready. You're not done. You're not this and that. You know what I'm saying? But
Yeah.
that's not the truth. You know what I'm saying? The truth is, you have to start taking those baby steps, Like, example, even me, I'm, growing up a Muslim, I have, like, struggle, example, to just pray 5 times a day, you know what I'm saying? We all do, especially, being young, you want to just play, you know what I'm saying? And following certain things, you know what I'm saying? And you have to take the baby, like, the prayer is the baseline you have to master, you know what I'm saying? To pray your prayers every day 5 times, and and after you work on the timing, pray your prayers on time. It's very important. Again, it takes years to do it, and it takes a lot of discipline to pray your prayers on time. And the only time you're allowed not pray it when you have real excuse, you know what I'm saying? Like, some, I don't know, like, real excuse, and it's hard to come up with those excuses, to not pray your prayer on time. You know what I'm saying? Real excuse. You know what I'm saying? So always you can plan your time ahead and things like that. And you're like, oh, what about if I'm driving? You can pull over and, and pray. What about if I'm flying? You can pray in your airplane. You know what I'm saying? So it really, there is no excuse. What about if I'm sick? Like, I can't even get out from my bed. You can pray and you can pray and you're like sitting. And if you can't pray, you sitting, you can pray with your eyes. Imagine you can pray with your eyes. You know what I'm saying? So there is no, like, literally, when it comes to prayer, it's so hard to make an excuse why you're not praying or why you're not praying on time. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of times just the devil is playing with your timing and stuff like that, and makes you lazy over time. You know what I'm saying? So, and a lot of us, just like I said, like, even a Muslim, we feel like a hypocrite because we're not praying on time. We're collecting all this prayer. We pray until the end of the day and stuff like that. But trust me, even if you do all those mistakes, which is bad mistakes, you should be still praying. You know what I'm saying? Because that's the only way to get closer to God. You're trying and fighting hard to to master the prayers, to pray it on time and stuff like that, is better than you not praying. Because when you're not praying, what you did, you cut that Wi-Fi or that line between you and your God. You know what I'm saying? This is the only way to communicate to God. You know, you want God to get you closer, well, you have to put your head down and pray. Please, God, I want to pray 5 times a day on time. I want to be a good Muslim, this and that. So you have to be doing something to get you closer. And the prayer, this is the only way. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of us, we like, well, I'm doing all these sinning things or haram things. I don't want to pray because I don't want to feel hypocrite. But what do you have? You have no connection. You know what I'm saying? Yes, you sometimes you pray in your heart, please, God, guide me or whatever, well, like, we'll accept that too, sometimes, but the chances is a lot less than someone putting his heads down and making a little effort to get him closer. You know what I'm saying? So and that's exactly what I was saying. The devil does his best way to make you feel less, make you feel there is no God answer and everything, make you like you are hopeless. You know what I'm saying? Because that's the way he's gonna separate you from God. You know what I'm saying? Because if you have a little bit hope, and even been mentioned in the Quran, I believe, or maybe a hadith, I'm not sure, that what is it? As-salat tanhi an al-fahsha'i wal munkar. Like the prayer helps you to stay away from the sin and from the bad things. Basically, it helps you. You know what I'm saying? So if you want to stay from the sin, if you want to stay from all the crazy things, and you want to stay top of your prayers, and to get stronger in the deen, in religion and stuff, you have to start with the prayer. There is no way around it. You know what I'm saying? Even your prayer is so messed up, it's so out of order, whatever, but just keep trying. Just keep trying. Keep trying. Every day it's a new day. Every day it's a new day. Every day it's a new day until you master it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
When you master it, that's where the doors start opening up for you. You know what I'm saying? Prayer is amazing. Like when you master the prayer, you will see the fruit of the prayer. You know what I'm saying? And it takes years of practice. That's what we have.
Yes and no. Sorry to interrupt. I don't think it takes for you to master it for you to see the fruit of your prayer.
Well, absolutely.
I disagree with what you just said.
What?
Because I started seeing the fruit of my prayer like immediately.
Absolutely. And what I'm saying to a certain extent, like the people that master the prayers, praying on time, pray with khushu', with very deep focus, you know what I'm saying? They have this connection with God that I can't even describe. You know what I'm saying?
Definitely, yeah.
They have this way, they know how they communicate with them and God give them all this wealth or this happiness or this content in their heart. And you know what I'm saying? That I can't even describe because I'm not there yet. You know what I'm saying? But that's what I'm saying. Some people might take them 10 years of praying and they get to that deep, you know what I'm saying? It takes a lot of work and effort. You know what I'm saying? So somebody, example, being praying 60 years or 70 years, and someone new pray, maybe example, let's say 5 years, you know what I'm saying? I'm still new to the game. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't mean I'm God. It doesn't answer my prayers or my, you know what I'm saying, the things that I want, or God help me. It does. It just, but compared to someone high level, it is just more deep connection, and there is, it's like a master to like a baby student.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that portion because, for example, when I started praying, it was really hard for me. I would forget to pray on time. I would forget to pray even 5 times a day. I would forget certain things during prayer. But when I really started just trying my all and just saying, and not being so judgmental of myself, because I was like, man, God is judging me. I'm not doing this right. I was so hard on myself, thinking like God is not accepting this. Like my prayer is not valid, etc. Once I let that go and I really just started like focusing and just like not even being like so judgmental on myself, I really built this really strong connection, and I had the best it was like the best time of my life. I was stress free. No matter what happened in my life, it didn't matter because I would not get stressed. I would not get irritated.
Yeah.
I would not get sad. It was like, that is God's will.
God's will.
It is what it is. It does not affect me whatsoever. I can be like homeless tomorrow. God forbid, and this sounds very probably insensitive, but at the time, you know, I was pregnant and it was like, my baby can die right now. And I fully accept it. I will not be sad. I will not be angry. I will not be upset.
Yeah.
That's what he wants. That is his will.
Yeah.
And I am 100% okay with that.
You know, I really remember.
You know,
I really remember when you told me that you were like a couple days in. You know what I'm saying? You were like, if you like Anas, you're like, if this is really happened like that and something happened to the baby, you're like, it would really hurt me, but I fully accept it like from now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Whatever. And then
like, it's not going to be like, oh, I feel no emotions.
Yeah.
But it's easy for me to accept, and it's easy. I'm not going to cry for days. I'm not going to, it's just something that's going to like,
and
you know?
Yeah. And then I'm like, wow, you actually like, that's another level to the belief. You know what I'm saying? So there is a born Muslim sometimes, and still they can go come over this situation. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that was just like to give, you know, give everyone an example of what I was feeling.
Yeah.
But that's how I felt about like everything in life in that moment. Everything, you know?
Yeah.
And unfortunately, you know, once I gave birth, I stopped praying, you know, because of postpartum and bleeding and all of that. You know, you don't pray when you're bleeding, whatever. I definitely did lose that connection, you know, and I felt so bad, and it was just terrible that right now I'm fighting so hard and I want to get that connection back. But it's just like, I fell into like this habit of not praying because of postpartum, that now it's very hard for me to get back on track how I used to be.
Yeah.
You know, because it was something where it was like, before when I first started praying and I would hear the alarm, I'm like, I hope he does not wake me up to pray. I don't want to pray. I'm like, I can't get up. I want to go to sleep. It went from like those thoughts to like, hopefully he wakes me up. Like, let's go. Like, it went from me waking him up, from me trying to push him to like, let's pray. Let's do this. Let's, you know, pray on time or whatever.
Yeah. And it's very important for the couples like that to, you know, help each other, to pray on time, to pull each other, you know, because the shaitan, the devil, you know, sometimes he's all over on me, you know, I'm feeling lazy, weak, all this. And maybe she has a little bit more courage. She's, you know what I'm saying? She can come and pull me from my place, and the same thing from my side again when I'm feeling, you know, a little bit more motivated, you know, and stuff like that. I'll come, you know, help her out to get up, and, you know, we pray. So, you know, that's how couples should, you know, help each other to, you know, to pray on time and pray together. Yeah, no, I remember that very vividly when you told me that made me very happy, because I was just like, okay, now it's going to yakin. You have the trust, you know, on God. You know what I'm saying? Whatever God's, and all the time, you know me, I'm pretty good at it. You know, sometimes at the moment, if something happened, I can be a little bit naive and getting like that reaction. You know what I'm saying? But as long as I kind of like calm down, or like I get hold of my thought, you know what I'm saying? I'll be like, whoa, hold on. This is God's will. God want this situation to happen. You know what I'm saying? Or sometimes I will say, if this is God, what you want me to do, or this is what you know, Allah wants to happen, I fully accepted it. And if it's coming from human, or it's coming from the devil or anything else, please God, get rid of it from me. I don't want it, you know, stop it and stuff like that. But if it's coming from you, I take it, you know, over my shoulder. I accepted it, you know, and alhamdulillah, thank God for it, you know. And we have to thank God when things happen bad, and when bad things happen, you know what I'm saying? We have to thank God, because like I said, the wisdom again behind whatever bad things happen to you, we might think, you know, and, you know, maybe are good things, you know. And even God said it, you know, he says, do not love something and we might know that it's bad for you, and don't hate something that you might think is bad for you but is good for you. You know what I'm saying? And God knows, that's what we say, God knows the best, you know?
Yeah,
He's the all knowing.
I agree 100%.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. But yeah, like I said, like I feel that's what I'm, even when my family, sometimes they talk, or friends or whatever, you're like, oh, your wife, this and that. Oh, but like I feel her like she's a Muslim. It's just like the devil, you know what I'm saying, holding her back. That's all literally what all the time I say. I'm like, I know she will be, because like you don't say like, oh, I don't believe Jesus this, or you know what I'm saying, like there is no pushback on unbelief, you just, I feel like you're just not ready, because that's exactly what the devil
Yeah.
doing, makes you not feeling ready, you know what I'm
Yes.
saying, you're not
And
push that commitment
yes.
away
And
from you.
I think a big part of why I didn't disagree with certain things, it's like if like someone actually takes a look into the Catholic religion the way it should be, right? Not the way that most people practice it, but the way it actually should be, people will realize that the Catholic religion and Islam are very similar. I'm not saying it's the most similar religion it could be, to be honest. I'm not saying that though, but it's very similar.
Yeah.
It is very, very similar. So, for example, in the Catholic religion, we do, I will say, some type of fasting, right? But it's not the type of fasting that, we do in Islam.
Yeah.
But again, I feel like if in the Catholic religion, let's just say if I was still Catholic and I would actually really dig deep and go back into the Catholic religion, back to its roots, I may be able to find that the way you're supposed to fast is maybe the way you fast in Islam. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like it's meant to be that way. It's intended
It's
to be
just
that
been
way.
kind of like corrupted over time.
Yes, exactly. Because
Yeah.
the way that Catholics fast now does not make sense to me.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I'm fasting, but I'm eating everything but red meat.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, then what's the point of fasting if you're
Yeah.
You know
You're
what I'm
not
saying?
fasting, you just
not eating meat? You know,
Yeah. No, seriously.
you're a pescatarian for the month. You know,
Yeah. So, but at this point, like, what's your like overall, point of view? Like when it comes to Islam, what's some of your goals? What you want to be next 10 years from now? As far as your faith and stuff like that.
well, of course, like, inshallah, I grow closer to my faith. I want to be able to pray on time, pray like how you described, like very focused, almost like anyone who has done meditation ever in their life, like correctly, praying, it's literally like meditation. It's literally almost the same, but praying has like a purpose, like a deeper meaning,
Yeah.
So that's the main difference. But the feeling, it's pretty much almost the same, like very peaceful, very relaxed. You take a break in your day to just kind of recenter, take a break from everything that's going on. If you had a stressful day, take back and recenter. If your day is amazing, you recenter and you thank God. You know what I mean? If it's stressful, then you recenter and you ask God for help, for ease,
Yeah.
for guidance, whatever. So I want to get back to the place where I used to be before I took a break from praying because, I gave birth. I'm struggling so hard to get there, but I'm trying. I'm constantly trying and I'm not giving up. And I pray every day for God to help me to get to that place because it was the best time of my life. It was like being on a high without having any substance in your body.
Yeah.
Like you are on cloud 9, you're happy, you're energetic, like everything's great. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, it was absolutely amazing. And I wish that in the future I get there, hopefully sooner than later. And I really want my kids to grow up to be very close in their religion, in their faith. And I pray to God all the time. Like I literally say, may you please help me and my kids so they can be great slaves of yours, you know? Because I want them to just be amazing in thriving in the religion.
Yeah, and make them useful to the religion, inshallah. And one of my
Inshallah.
goals, actually, I have to look into it when the babies start growing and see where we're gonna be staying at and everything. I want him to, inshallah, maybe memorize the whole Quran, or at least majority of it. You know what I'm saying? I would encourage him
Yeah.
and put him in the right places to memorize the whole Quran. Early age. I think that will be great investment. I think he will thank us so much when
Oh,
he
yeah.
grow. You know what I'm saying? And just after we pass away, and our kid will recite the Quran, for us. You know what I'm saying? Do you remember last time we were talking about charity? The only two type of charity that you still get good deeds after you pass away: raising a good children's, and good information, like you give da'wah, you know what I'm saying, what two type, yeah, information, three types actually. So raising a good kid that helps with the information, or you create a book example that someone read from it and stuff like that, learning about the deen or stuff like that, you know what I'm saying. And example, you plant a tree, and people come, get a shade from it, you know what I'm saying, when it's hot, get the oxygen, get fruits. Let's say you
Yeah.
put
the gift that keeps on giving.
keeps on giving forever, you know what I'm saying, as long that tree is there, or whatever that thing. You could be even some kind of water, anything, or build a mosque, example. So whatever that mosque, people go pray, you get all the rewards for all those people praying in mosque, if you find the whole mosque by yourself or you were part of it anyway, like stuff like that, or a shelter of homeless people go, and anything that people benefit from it, you get reward. After you passed away, you still get a reward to your dad's death, or your whatever you at, you know what I'm saying. So, and raising a good children, a good kid. So like example, if you raise a good kid, hafid Quran, or memorize the whole Quran, mashallah, that would be great. You lead in the prayer to people, and you invest the time, the money to, for your kid to learn that, you know what I'm saying. So I think that would be the best charity, inshallah, if we can make it happen. I think about it all the time. I really want him to, especially, I think it will match his name, Ibrahim, with the full memorized Quran. I think it will be great. Yeah. So, where do you see? I said 10 years, but I think a little bit too much. 10 years. Where do you see yourself maybe next 5 years as far religion? Like, what do you want to be doing? What do you want to be? Your like, what's your next level type of thing?
I mean, if God gives me life, I think the first goal is fluently learn Arabic.
Yeah.
I can barely get by right now understanding, like, some conversations.
McCain's.
Yeah, here and there, but that would be number one. And with that comes with like being able to read the Quran in Arabic, not just English.
Yeah.
And with that, like, just being able to like teach my kids and interact and discuss with my kids and other people. I think like right now, one of the things is like I'm very self conscious, like even just going to the mosque and like having like sisters come up to me and start talking, and I'm like, I don't.
Yeah, that's
You know
good.
what I mean? I don't know
I
what
like
to
that.
say or what to reply or
Yeah.
or whatever, But thankfully, I haven't had that experience yet. And I guess just when I do, I just say, speak it the English.
Speaking the English,
you
exactly.
know?
No, no, like you said, I like that you start going. On Fridays, to go, and I want you to go just to know a little bit more people. You know what I'm saying, and
Mm-hmm.
kind of like break the ice with people a little bit. You know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And you can see there is a lot of great sister would provide help for you, support and stuff like that. They're nice in a way and stuff like
Yeah.
that. And yeah, and you've been doing really good with that. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, majority of the people out there, they do speak English. They're not
Yes.
all of them.
It's a very
Yeah,
small community where we go.
yeah.
But from what it looks like, majority
Americans,
are reverts. So
reverse
it's
Americans.
amazing.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's beautiful.
yeah, exactly. So, cool. All right. Anything you want to share with the people? Maybe some advice to the sisters or the brothers, people.
I think for those that are on the fence thinking about reverting, I think don't be scared. Just do it. Just do it and you will it's like a baby. You will slowly learn how to walk.
Yeah.
Don't be scared.
Yeah, if you think this is the right, if you believe all the beliefs we were talking about, you know what I'm saying? You don't have any like disbelief on anything, you know what I'm saying? And if you have any disbelief, maybe talk to the people that are actually knowledgeable, go to the imams and stuff like that, ask them questions and why is this, why is that. And when inshallah you have the all understanding you need, you know what I'm saying,
Yeah.
and you feel yourself you're just not ready, maybe you still doing the things you are doing before you taking this new chapter of your life, it's okay. Like I said, try your best with the best intentions you have, to be a good human being, and you're going to try your best to be a good Muslim as possible, because all of us, a Muslim, non-Muslim, all of us will fall in shorts, trust me, you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, and
And
if you receive an answer that you think is questionable or you don't understand or you don't quite get or you think it's wrong, like it's okay to seek multiple different opinions. You know what I mean? Because one person may have an incorrect information or the wrong opinion or a different interpretation than what most of us do.
yeah, there's a lot of like quote unquote, I'm trying to be a scholar like me, that they don't know too much about the religion, trust me,
Yeah.
me too, I barely know anything, you know what I'm saying. I'm very very naive, I would say.
There's so much
so much
to the
stuff,
religion, so much that don't feel like you have to be perfect or know everything or even 10% of it before you commit, because you may not even get there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Who knows how long we're going to live. And like you said, if you're engaging in some activities that you're not too proud of, that you're like, once I leave this, then I'll join. Just take your shahada and start praying slowly but surely,
because
God will allow you to leave the negative things behind that you don't want.
Yeah, because that's the only thing that will helps you to leave the things that you don't want to be engaged with. You know what I'm saying? Is the prayer, is getting closer, taking those baby steps. You know what I'm saying? That will help you to get closer to God, to the
Yeah.
religion and stuff like that. But if you stay in just doing whatever you're doing the devil's work, but you have this mindset, oh, I want to be a religious, there is no way, it's not gonna work like that, you know what I'm saying. So just taking the baby steps, try your best, read, ask God to keep you on the right path and stuff like that, and that's the best way to get closer to God, to all Muslims out there or non-Muslims out there. If you're not praying, I think would say start from the prayer before, and don't go too hard, because a lot of people go very hard, very crazy, and they kind of get burnt out, and they stop praying, they stop doing everything. You know what I'm saying? Just take it easy, slowly. You know what I'm saying? Baby steps. This is, I would give this, even like what they call him, David Goggin, the quote unquote, the one of the top people out there when it comes to discipline and all this. You know what I'm saying? He's a master what he does, like running miles and miles and miles. You know what I'm saying? He learned how to suffer and stay calm in a way. You know what I'm saying? So, but if we make him, let's say if he convert or he revert to Islam, I don't. He's even the discipline he has. Probably he's gonna be a lot more better than a lot of people because of the discipline he has. But his discipline, he's a master in the different things. So when it comes to prayer, like on time every day, when it comes to fasting and all the Muslim teachings, he's gonna be very weak at it. He's gonna take him again a lot of time. You know what I'm saying? A lot of focus. He need to develop these muscles. You know what I'm saying? To get there. That's what I'm saying. When someone praying for a couple years, 5 years, with someone being praying 60 years, you know how much discipline he built to get there, to get that focus, to get those prayers on time and all that stuff. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't come overnight. The people that pray for only for a couple years, 10, 20 years, they're still struggling with the praying on time, praying on you know what I'm saying? They have that struggle. But when you get, that's why a lot of older people, you see them in the mosque every day, you see them praying on time every day, you see them, they are very good people. First, because of the practice they've been doing over decades, you know. So like I told you, even David Goggin, I promise you, he will be struggling if he revert to stay on track. You know what I'm saying? Because it's just a different type of discipline. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like I said again, to not pray your prayers on time, it's crazy how, like, it's hard to make an excuse for it. You know what I'm saying? It's I can't even come up some, the only excuse, maybe you are in a surgery.
A valid excuse.
You are in a surgery while the prayer was, while the adhan was calling. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, like it's something like that. Like it's very hard. Or like you working, even when you're working, it's a lot of times it's recommended, if there is a boss, to ask him, yo, I can pray on this time, or take maybe your break around that time. Like you try, when you try your best and you couldn't make it, God will accept it as you did on time. But at least you tried. You ask your boss, maybe you're trying to set a timer, whatever it may be. You know what I'm saying? If even Fajr, like the morning prayer, you know what I'm saying? If you had intentions, you set your timers and everything like that, you know what I'm saying, to pray the morning prayer on time. And let's say, you couldn't hear the timer, whatever maybe happened like that, you know what I'm saying? But just not being too lazy, just turning all your timers off, and you think, and you have the right intentions, your prayer is accepted, like you prayed on time. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But the intentions need to be on point also. Well, all right. I don't want to make it too long. Yeah, my 5 years plan, hopefully, inshallah, will be a lot better Muslim. And for me, I don't like to be like, just do this, do that. I like to lead by example. So if I can be a good example for you, for my kid, for the people around me, that would be great. But that's what I pray for, to be a better leader overall. All right. Anything you want to say before we close this off? No? Well, actually, I have. Can you do me a favor? I have something I want to tell you. I asked them many times to subscribe. There's a lot of people are watching us, and they're still, they have that. They don't want to commit. We're talking about, they don't want to commit. They're like, I don't know, these guys, they're going to be around next 5 years from now or no. Why would they even subscribe to them?
Who knows? We don't know if we are, right?
Only if we die, maybe.
Yeah, we don't know.
But yeah, can you please tell them what to do?
Like and subscribe and ring the notification bell so you can be notified when we upload again.
There you go. You heard that from her this time. Please listen. All right, guys. I'll see you guys in another one.
What was that?
I don't know. Was that good?
No.
All right. Can you close it off for us?
Bye.
All right. Bye.
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 Ciao.
Ciao. Hot boo.
Hop.